Hi, my name is Bennett Garfinkel, and I'm the medico-legal researcher and legal assistant to lead counsel attorney Brian Wickland here at Garfinkel Schwartz. I'm not an attorney, but my grandfather was, my father is, and I'm hoping to go to law school myself. Here at Garfinkel Schwartz, our firm deals exclusively with contractors and longshoremen injured either while serving overseas or in America's ports and harbors. And our slogan here is one family, helping one family at a time. And we feel it's great to get to know your family, so hopefully you can get to know our family. So I'm here just to introduce myself and tell my story a little bit. So I started working with this firm about a year ago. It was my grandfather's, and he left an absolutely wonderful legacy of helping individuals. He was very, very skilled in this job. He passed away in 2012, so we decided to name our law firm in honor of my grandfather. Now, I have quite a bit of medical experience myself, both as practicing in the field and also as a patient. When I was 16, I was diagnosed with a pretty major spinal injury, and I had to have pretty extensive surgery. And in the last 8 years, I've actually gone through 5 spinal surgeries myself. But also in the last 8 years, I've gotten a medic's license, practiced as an EMT overseas in both Thailand and in Honduras, and also have gotten a bachelor's with honors in psychology, studying neurobiology. I went to Rollins College and here in Orlando, Florida, and in Winter Park, my hometown. Our offices are in Maitland, so it's very close to my alma mater. I started studying psychology because I was interested about the nervous system, about how it worked. With my own experiences with pain and spinal deformities, I was very, very interested in how nerves send signals and how the brain interprets everything. So I was able to have an amazing opportunity of being able to be the principal researcher at the Rollins College Gustatory Neurobiology Lab. So I worked with Professor Dr. Stephen St. John, who was my mentor and my thesis advisor, a great guy. And his research was all about appetite and how the body regulated the essential nutrients, such as sodium, that our body depends on. You know, if you're familiar with the hospital bags of the IV solution, you'll notice that it's exactly 0.9% sodium chloride. And that's the same level in the blood. And if the blood doesn't have that exact level, you die a pretty horrible death. So the brain has quite a few mechanisms to make sure that level of sodium is precise. And I was very, very interested in this type of research. I got to do research with animals and do a little bit of research with people as well. And I was able to do research on other items as well. But my focus was, again, on the nutrients. Also, while in college, I was very interested in medicine and helping people through that route because of my own experience as a patient and through all of my surgeries as well. So I ended up getting an emergency medical technician's license, and as soon as I graduated from Rollins, my thesis newly done and my diploma in hand, I actually went to Tegucigalpa, Honduras, and I volunteered with the International Red Cross. And at the time, in 2011, it was the height of the drug war. There was a coup that had just happened 2 weeks before I arrived, and honestly, I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. I mean, the first day I was there, I was teaching CPR to the hospital orderlies with my rusty Spanish, and a window just exploded from a grenade, and I'm in the hospital again. You know, it's in the middle of the city, and there are automatic weapons fire and grenade battles, and on my first day, I helped take a bullet out of somebody. So that was quite a culture shock. You know, obviously in America, you know, I'm not licensed to do that kind of field surgery, but there really was so few medical resources over in Honduras, and so many injuries and so much violence that it was certainly a life-changing experience. I ended up staying there for about a year and really immersed myself in the culture, learned quite a bit about trauma medicine and battlefield medicine. And I think my experiences over there, I can relate to a lot of our clients who've seen this type of violence, this type of, gun battles overhead while, they're trying to help a wounded colleague. It's very intense, and I certainly, I have flashbacks and memories, and I can definitely empathize with some of the trauma that you experience, just even as an onlooker or a bystander, much less when you're actually involved in the battle or in helping injured people that have been shot or worse. In Honduras, there were machete attacks and automatic weapons fires and grenades and all sorts of weaponry that you'd find on any modern battlefield. Actually, at the time when I was in Honduras, there were more murders than even Kandahar or Baghdad. So it was technically one of the most dangerous places on earth. So being in a battlefield for that long kind of gives me a perspective on how intense those experiences can be, which is another reason that I really enjoy talking to our clients here at Garfinkel Schwartz, because their experiences over in Iraq, Afghanistan, or other places which they've been sent overseas, either anti-piracy or building in dangerous areas in Africa, they have such amazing stories, and talking to them is always wonderful. So that's just a little bit about me, some of my experiences. I've been through quite a few surgeries myself, so I can really empathize with our clients there as well. When you're sick and injured, it's really difficult to deal with, all of life's challenges, medical bills. These things are extremely complicated, and when you're recovering from a surgery or subject to, an injury from environmental toxins or something like that, your job is to get better, and ours is to help. And my main job here at Garfinkel Schwartz is to coordinate a lot of the medical care for our clients. I help find psychologists, neuropsychologists, I help find surgeons, I help find pulmonary specialists that can help with injuries. We refer people to quite a few orthopedic surgeons and whatnot. I'm not a doctor myself, I'm not a lawyer either, but I do help coordinate these kinds of services for our clients that are very important. I help find research that supports, say if you were exposed to an environmental toxin overseas, I have research that can help support the fact that your injury is because of your exposure overseas. And that's very important to the court case to prove that your injury was sustained overseas, and thus the contractor and the insurance company has to pay your medical bills and your lost wages. That's very important, and I take a lot of pride in being able to help that, and I really do feel my medical experience, both as a patient and helping people overseas and at home, has allowed me to be fluent in those areas and help individuals get the medical care and the compensation they deserve. So that's just a little bit about me. Bennett Garfinkel, the medical researcher here and the legal assistant to attorney Brian Wickland. And this is again named in this firm's named in my grandfather's honor. So we do have quite a bit of a family legacy in helping contractors and longshoremen that are injured overseas or in America's ports and harbors. I really appreciate you guys listening to this, and hopefully you can get to know all of us much better, and we look forward to talking to you. Again, I'm Bennett Garfinkel, and I'm coming to you from the Maitland office of Garfinkel Schwartz in Central Florida, and we also have another office in Titusville, Florida on the Space Coast. Thank you.